how do you describe to people what you do? What's it say on your passport?
I want to say my passport. I think it probably says TV presenter, I guess. I love the fact that you guys say presenter instead of host. But I am the presenter for Man vs. Food, the producer and presenter on Man vs. Food, the Carnivore Chronicles on Good Food, and the producer and presenter of Man vs. Food Nation, which hopefully will be on Good Food channel coming up soon.
Okay, so Man versus Food. The title sort of explains what's going on here, but what happens is sort of in each episode.
Gotcha. So basically, what I do is I profile iconic restaurants in different American cities. Some known, for having a pretty significant culinary profile, and some maybe less so. And then in the latter two acts, I would embark upon some major iconic food challenge. So something that people had attempted sometimes hundreds and hundreds of times before, dozens of times before, sometimes really spicy wings or spicy something or other, or a massive sundae or milkshakes or a big pizza, sometimes with a partner, and try to take it down and become part of local food glory.
How did you get into this? Were you someone who used to always grown up eating large amounts of food when you were a baby? Were you a nightmare for your mum and dad?
Yeah, exactly right. Like a termite. No, I mean, I definitely, I grew up in a house, where my cousins were athletes. My dad was an athlete. So I think that, working out and sort of eating to sustain that kind of very active lifestyle. I was a varsity athlete in high school and in college. And the only way I maintain my weight now is being active. I've never been a small guy, but I think that I would look like a dripping candle if I really didn't do something. But no, I think the simple fact is I had a knowledge of regional food around the United States. I've been keeping a food journal since 1995, which rather than be kind of a collection of antiseptic reviews was much more kind of memoir-based, almost like a diary that used food as the point of departure. I grew up in New York, but I went to college in Georgia, graduate school in Connecticut, lived on an Indian reservation in North Carolina, acted in theaters everywhere from San Jose, California to St. Louis, and began just writing down my food journey. So by the time I auditioned for Man vs. Food, I didn't come up with the show. I had regional food knowledge. I always loved to eat, I think like a lot of guys generally do. I think that's part of the success of the show is that you watch a food challenge, we all can't, play footy like Wayne Rooney, and we all can't dunk a basketball like LeBron James, but at the end of the day, we all love to eat. And all of us at some point or another have totally chowed down, whether it's holiday or when you're on holiday. And so I think that I had never done a food challenge before the first one I did for Man vs. Food. It was a rude awakening. It was sort of like, wow, I need to train for these. And that's what I did.
How do you train for eating like a giant pizza? How do you get?
Well, one of the things is making sure you're completely empty. So I would, do a cleanse and make sure I was completely empty. But also leg workouts and back workouts, because they're your largest muscle group. They stimulate your metabolism the most. I would do interval sprints the morning of. Stay pretty hydrated, but also, quite frankly, it's about eating really healthfully when you are not training, eating really healthfully when you're not doing a challenge, that your body is able to process it. Because I think that if you have a lot of, and let's face it, these challenge foods are delicious, but they're not exactly light fare. It's not like I sit down to 5 pounds of granola and, as you would say, yogurt. I sit down to 72-ounce steaks and big pizzas. So it's about checks and balances and having fish and having vegetables and being gentle on my system such that when I enter the realm of, becoming a little bit of a gastricist, if you will, that I'm girded to do so. And it bears noting that neither myself nor Good Food, nor any of the people that I work on the show with would ever say, eat like this as a lifestyle choice. Not at all. These are indulgences. And if anyone from the UK ever gets a chance to go to Nashville and doesn't try a Rendezvous barbecue rib or Gus's fried chicken, then you're missing out. You're missing out on the essence of Memphis. Like if you're in Texas and you don't try a great steak or great barbecue, or go to Amarillo and try the burger from hell or great chili verde French fries, if you don't do it, there is an element of the experience of travel that is simply missed. And I think it's kind of beautiful to me that the two networks that Man vs. Food exists on in the US is travel and the UK is good food, because that's exactly what the show is. It may as well be called Good Food While You Travel. I never wanted it to be viewed as the counterpoint of, well, Jamie Oliver is saying eat healthy and I'm saying eat unhealthily. It's quite the contrary. These foods are family recipes. These restaurants are not part of chains. There's no mega conglomerate. You know, I'm not doing a challenge at a McDonald's or an Arby's or any massive chain like this or Abacababra or what have you. These are one-offs. These restaurants are as iconic. Like in Texas, in Austin, there's the state capitol and there is Salt Lick Barbecue and Round Rock Donuts. They are as iconic parts of the cityscape as the architecture or the public spaces that exist in these cities. I think it's great to showcase these places as just that. These foods, yes, they are indulgent. Yes, they are once in a blue moon fun foods, but by the same token, they are as much a part of that city's DNA and fingerprint as the landscape itself. In terms of the healthfulness of them, I love being the ambassador to all things delicious. I love the fact that I get to show the awesome barbecue brisket pizza in San Antonio. That's what I think about that. Barbecue brisket in Texas on a pizza, like where everything is handmade and homemade and sourced locally. It's delicious, and everyone knows that it's delicious. And I think it's great showcasing those foods. I still think that eating healthfully is a paramount concern universally, but I think you need to live a little. And if there's any message behind me and me showing the foods I show, it's that live a little. You go around once, try the cupcake, try the big donut, try the big pizza. Don't make a lifestyle choice out of it, but why not? Why wouldn't you, you know?